most challenging thing you will ever do in your life. In fact, you may never get there. Few people do. Not in one lifetime, not in many. So why try? Why enter the fray? Who needs it? Why not simply play life as if it were what it apparently is anyway? A simple exercise in meaninglessness leading to nowhere in particular. A game you can lose, no matter how you play. A process that leads to the same results. Ultimately, for everyone, you said there is no hell, there is no punishment, there is no way to lose. So why bother trying to win? What is the incentive given how difficult it is to get where you say we are trying to go? Why not take our good-natured time and just relax about all this stuff and being who you really are? Fine, we are frustrated, aren't we? Well, I get tired of trying, only to have you come here and tell me how hard it is all going to be, and how only 1 in a million makes it anyway. Yes, I see that you do. Let me see if I can help. First, I would like to point out that you already have taken your good-natured time about it. Do you think this is your first attempt at this? I have no idea. It doesn't seem as if you've been here before. Sometimes, well, you have. Many times. How many times? Many times. That's supposed to encourage me. It's supposed to inspire you. How so? First, it takes the worry out of it. It brings in the can't-fail element you just talked about. It assures you that the intention is for you not to fail, that you will get as many chances as you want and need. You can come back again and again and again if you do get to the next step. If you evolve to the next level, it's because you wanted to, not because you have to. You don't have to do anything if you enjoy life at this level. If you feel this is the ultimate for you, you can have this experience over and over and over again. In fact, you have had it over and over again for exactly that reason. You love the drama, you love the pain, you love the not knowing, the mystery, the suspense, you love it all. That's why you are here. Are you kidding me? Would I kid you about a thing like that? I don't know what God kids about. Not about this. This is too close to the truth, too close see that statement being used and misused, just as you are doing now, to try to make all sorts of points, to rationalize all sorts of insanity by the highest standards. I've observed humans devise killing can never be justified as a means of expressing anger, releasing hostility, righting a wrong, or punishing an offender. The statement that war is sometimes necessary to end evil stands true, but you have to make it so. You have determined in the creation of self that respect for all human life is and must be a high prime value. I am pleased with your decision because I do not create life that it may be destroyed. It is respect for life that sometimes makes war necessary, for it is through war against immediate impending evil. It is through defense against immediate threat to another life that you make a statement of who you are in relation to that. You have a right under highest moral law. Indeed, you have an obligation under that law to stop aggression on the person of another or yourself. This does not mean that killing as a punishment is appropriate, nor as retribution, nor as a means of settling petty differences. In your past, you have killed in personal duels over the affection of a woman. For heaven's sake, and called this protecting your honor when it was all honor you were losing. It is absurd that you use deadly force as an argument solver. Many humans are still using force, killing force, to solve ridiculous arguments even today, reaching to the height of hypocrisy. Some humans even kill in the name of God, and that is the highest blasphemy, for it does not speak of who you are. Oh, then there is something wrong with killing. Let's back up. There is nothing wrong with anything. Wrong is a relative term, indicating the opposite of that which you call right. Yet, what is right? Can you be truly objective in these matters? All are right and wrong, simply descriptions overlaid on events and circumstances by you, out of your decision about them. And what, pray tell, forms the basis of your decision? Your own experience? No, in most cases, you have chosen to accept someone else's decision, someone who came before you and presumably knows better. Very few of your daily decisions about what is right and wrong are being made by you, based on your understanding. This is especially true on important matters. In fact, the more important the matter, the less likely are you to listen to your own experience, and the more ready you seem to be to make someone else's ideas your own. This explains why you've given up virtually total control over certain areas of your life and certain questions that arise within the human experience. These areas and questions very often include the subjects most vital to your soul, the nature of God, the nature of true morality, the questions of ultimate reality, the issues of life and death, surrounding war, medicine, abortion, the whole sum and substance of personal values, Is killing a proper form of defense against those who would kill if they are not in some other way stopped? Is there a difference between killing and murder? The state would have you believe that killing to complete a purely political agenda is perfectly defensible. In fact, the state needs you to take its words on this in order to exist as an entity of power. Religious would have you believe that killing to spread and maintain knowledge of and adherence to that particular truth is perfectly defensible. In fact, religious require you to take their word on this in order to exist as an entity of power. Society would have you believe that killing to punish those who commit certain offenses, this have changed through the years, is perfectly defensible. In fact, the society must have you take its word for it in order to exist as an entity of power. Do you believe these positions are correct? Have you taken another's word for it? What does yourself have to say? There is no right or wrong in these matters, but by your decisions you paint a portrait of who you are. Indeed, by their decisions, your states and nations have already painted such pictures. By their decisions, your religions have created lasting, indelible impressions. By their decisions, your society have produced their self-portraits too. Are you pleased with these pictures? Are these the impressions you wish to make? Do these portraits represent who you are? Be careful of these questions. They may require you to think. Thinking is hard. Making value judgments is difficult. It places you in a parallel creation, because there are so many times you have to say, I don't know, I just don't know. You will have to decide, and so you will have to choose. You will have to make an arbitrary choice. Such a choice, a decision coming from no previous personal knowledge, is called pure creation, and the individual is aware, deeply aware that in the making of such decision is the self-created. Most of you are not interested in such important work. Most of you would rather leave that to others, and so most of you are not self-created, but creatures of habit, other created creatures. Then, when others have told you how you should feel, and it runs directly counter to how you do feel, you experience a deep inner conflict. Something deep inside you tells you that what others have told you is not who you are. Now, where to go with that? What to do? The first place you go is to your religious. The people who put you there in the first place. You go to your priest and your rabbi and your ministers and your teachers, and they tell you to stop listening to yourself. The worst of them will try to scare you away from it, scare you away from what you intuitively know. They will tell you about the devil, about Satan, about demons and evil spirits, and how and damnation and every frightening thing they can think of to get you to see how what you were intuitively knowing and feeling are wrong, and how the only place you will find any comfort is in their thoughts, their hard to resist such approval, such rejoicing that you have seen the light, that you have been saved. Approvals and demonstrations seldom accompany inner-decisions. Celebration rallies around choices to follow personal truth. In fact, quite the contrary. Not only may others fail to celebrate, they may actually subject you to ridicule what you're thinking for yourself. You're deciding on your own. You are applying your own yardsticks, your own judgments, your own values. Who do you think you are, anyway? And indeed, that is precisely the questions you are answering. But the work must be done very much alone, very much without reward, without approval, perhaps without even any notice. And so you ask a very good question. Why go on? Why even start off on such a path? What is to be gained from embarking on such a journey? Where is the incentive? Where is the reason? The reason is ridiculously simple. There is nothing else to do. What do you mean? I mean, this is the only game in time. There is nothing else to do. In fact, there is nothing else you can do. You are going to be doing what you are doing for the rest of your life, just as you have been doing it since birth. The only question is whether you will be doing it consciously or unconsciously. You see, you cannot disembark from the journey you embarked before you were born. Your birth is simply a sign that the journey has begun. So the question is not why start off on such a path. You have already started off. You did so with the first bit of your heart. The question is, do I wish to walk this path consciously or unconsciously, with awareness or lack of awareness, as the cause of my experience or the effects of it? For most of your life, you have lived at the effect of your experiences. Now, you are invited to be the cause of them. That is what is known as conscious living. That is what is called walking in awareness. Now, many of you have walked quite some distance. As I've said, you have made no self-progress, so you should not feel that after all these lives you have only come to this. Some of you are highly evolved creatures with a very strong sense of self. You know who you are and you know what you would like to become. That's a great sign. That's a strong indication of what? Of the fact that you now have very few lives left. Is that good? It is. Now for you. And that is so because you said it. It is so. Not long ago, all you wanted to do was stay here. Now all you wanted to do is leave. That is a very good sign. Not long ago, you killed things, bugs, plants, trees, animals, people. Now you cannot kill a thing without knowing exactly what you are doing and why. That's a very good sign. Not long ago, you sought to be rich and famous. Now you seek to be simply and wonderfully yourself. And not so very long ago, you feared me. Now you love me enough to call me your equal. All these are very, very good signs. Well, gosh, you made me feel good. You should what's happening here. Precisely. Then may I ask you, does it at least get any easier? Oh, my darling friend, it is so much easier for you now than it was 3 lifetimes ago. I can't even tell you. Yes, it does get easier the more you remember, the more you are able to experience, the more you know, so to speak, and the more you know, the more you remember. It is a circle, so yes, it gets easier, it gets better, it becomes even more joyful. But remember, none of it has been exactly a drudge. I mean, you've loved all of it every last minute. Oh, it's delicious, this thing called life. It's a scrumptious experience now. Well, yes, I suppose. You suppose how much more scrumptious could I have made it? Are you not being allowed to experience everything? The tears, the joy, the pain, the gladness, the excitation, the massive depression, the win, the loss, the joy. What more is there? A little less pain, perhaps. Less pain without more wisdom defeats your purpose. Does not allow you to experience infinite joy, which is what I am. Be patient, you are gaining wisdom, and your joys are now increasingly available without pain. That too is a very good sign. You are learning, remembering how to love without pain, to let go without pain, to create without pain, to even cry without pain. Yes, you are even able to use your pain without pain, if you know what I mean. I think I do. I'm enjoying even my own life dramas more. I can stand back and see them for what they are, even laugh. Exactly. And you don't call this growth? I suppose I do. And so then, keep on growing, my son. Keep on becoming and keep on deciding what you want to become in the next highest version of yourself. Keep on working toward it. Keep on working